Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Siyabonga. Baba Mlalazi always says ukuthi this conference is a festival. Not only is it a festival, but it's also a festival of ideas and lots of different thinking. So we are so honored this morning ukuba no mayor wethu. Now ngizalwa eThembisa. A straight line. So ikaslami leli. Kodwa umeya naye uzalwa eThembisa. So bese organizile nje ukuthi yabo sin welcome kahle ekuruleni. So ladies and gentlemen, all dignitaries that are present here, corporate partners, everyone, would like to welcome officially the executive mayor of the city of Ekurhuleni, Unkosi Pile Xakaza, to be able to do the official welcoming for this conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sizwe Mahlangu, yasekasi, ekasi lamakasi, 1632, eMambiza. We pride ourselves. We continue. It's not just the premier, Banyaza. There's a lot of talent. But again, it's a representation of all our townships across. It's a representation of a black child and the efforts of this beautiful nation to produce leadership. So it's not just about Itembisa, it's about Kateho, it's about Togoza, it's about Tema, Tsakane, Daveton, Etwatwa, across all our township in the city of Ekurhuleni. So program directors, Ngiyabonga kakhulu, Sizwe, Zola. Sithanda ukuthi sibingelele even nabefundisi. Siyazi ukuthi ke sifika nje inqubo seyiqalile. And sithanda ukuthi mhlambe sixolise kakhulu ngoba sibambe ngapha nangapha. Mangithi ngiyangena ngapha kukhona umhlangano omkhulu wakwaKhokta. Kuno minister kuba Buhlabisa. Bese kuba no deputy minister uMasemula. UkaKhokta kanti no traditional affairs uBabu Ncamane. So we then have a responsibility to also welcome them to Ekurhuleni. Kodwa ke sithanda ukuthi nje sibulise ke uBaba Mabaso, Babu Ncakane, sibulise leadership yonke, the executive committee of the National Taxi Association, from a president or alliance. Yeah, ngiyabona ukuthi lababhali base office bazo bridge protocol sixolisele lo ndawo. But the president ubaba Francis Masitsa, secretary general ubaba Umlalazi kanye ne Women's League uchairperson uMamulorraine Zolisa Sifuba Imbokodo wathinta abafazi uMC wethu wase Gauteng province. I'm sure she's still on the way, but importantly the Deputy Minister of Transport, Honorable Mkhululeko Hlengwa, sakwamkela Ekurhuleni. Santaco President in absentia, maybe still on the way, up Nantsebe. And members of the Executive Committee of Santaco present. Maybe it's an important stakeholder or leadership or dignitaries. Distinguished guests, esteemed delegates Good morning, Molweni, Sanibonani, Dumelang, Avusheni, Lochani. Stand ukuthi sinibulise kakhulu. It is great sense of honor and pride that I stand before you today as the executive mayor of the city of Ekurhuleni to this important gathering of the National Taxi Alliance Conference. And I think we must put it there nicely. It's alliance, not association. So this gathering serves not only as a platform of collective voices of our nation's most vital transportation sectors, but also as an opportunity to engage meaningfully in dialogue that shapes the future of public transport. But I think that is our view. Ukuthi once there's a gathering, yabantu bagithi kule conference, it's an important platform yokuthi sibe ne voice A1, just to ensure that we're able to shape ukuthi iyaphi if public transport here to South Africa. And as we convene for this conference, let us acknowledge the dedication that each member of the National Taxi Association Alliance, otherwise I'm going to have a problem. With my speech writers. So what is important is that there must be a dedication from each member, and that all of us here were bringing certain skills, certain efforts, certain dedication to ensure that there is a success of Imboni public transport. Your commitment to passenger safety, to service quality, to community engagement is one of the areas that we must highlight, that we must commend, but we must also call for much improvement. And it is imperative that we harness the spirit of collaboration to address the pressing issues that confront our industry and to explore innovative solutions that will enhance our services and promote sustainable growth. In the coming days, I want to encourage each of you to share your insight, your experience, and aspiration. And it is through open dialogue and shared knowledge that we can foster an environment conducive to positive change. And let us work together to build a more reliant and equitable transport system, one that meets the needs of all citizens while supporting those who rely on our taxi services for our daily journey. The city of Ekurhuleni is the city of the Aerotropolis. Aerotropolis. And I think we must. Aerotropolis. It is often difficult to pronounce, but we must spend a bit of time to Aeretro. So when we talk about Aerotropolis, we expect this conference to also take pride, to say we are part of building this economy for this city, the city of Ekurhuleni. So Aerotropolis means is an airport economy. The fact that we've got the biggest airport in South Africa, what does it mean for the economy of this region? The fact that we've got major roads, zonke umgwaqo omkhulu, N3 idlula la, R21 idlula la, N12 idlula la, N17, you name all of them, they crisscross this city. What does it mean in terms of movement of the people and movement of goods? The fact that we've got a major rail hub, Jimiston, it is here in Ekurhuleni, crisscross here, it connects you to everywhere. So it is an economic, strategic, asset that we must embrace, and then we must then mobilize our communities and say, there is an economic asset. What is it that we need to do today to grow our city? So I just want to emphasize it so that the taxi industry, they understand they've got an important role to play. So when you move people, Yasekas, from Etembisa to Kempton Park to the airport, it is not just a movement of people ukuthi basuke bayotenga at Kempton Park or to Isando and so forth. It is part of contributing towards a growth of the regional economy. So that's what we're talking about. So it's now 27 million people who land to South Africa through this airport. 27 million per annum. Now, our question is that, what are we doing with these people as they land? Do we transport them in a safe way? Do we also introduce tourism products that where they can actually enjoy and contribute towards the economy of this region? Whether it's the hotel, whether it's a chisanyama, whether, whatever that we actually need as part of tourism product to ensure that we capture that market. We can actually see along the R21 corridors some of the economic development nodes, both DHL, both DSV, and so forth. And they are brought about because we go out and say, come and invest in this space. Because when you invest in this space, you are able to connect your product to anywhere in the world. If you take some flower namhlanje, just flowers, kusasa lama flower athengiswa in the streets of Paris. Wakanje la iduzane ma flower ma roses. Ngakusasa they are in the street of Paris. Why it is possible? It is because of connectivity. It is because of these assets called the airport. But this airport won't function if other attributes down the value chain are not perfected, are not well supported. So we are promoting this Aerotropolis, including to yourself, to say, think closely. When we do the BRT program, we do it to support iboni, public transport, to be professionalized, and so that it supports the economy. I go to it's not about that. It's about supporting the economy. Bayakwazi ukumove abantu eFoslo, bafike eBoksburg, basebenze 24 hours, nasebusuku baphume ngo2, bathole ibus reliable, ekwazi ukuthi bathathe ibabeke futhi endaweni zabo zokuhlala. So that's what we're about. We're talking economy, we're talking development. So central to this evolution is the integrated of the road network plan with strategic public transport, freight, rail, non-motorized transport initiatives. This collaborative approach underscores the necessity of a cohesive transport framework that promotes connectivity, enhances economic activity, and fosters entrepreneurial growth. At the heart of this transport strategy is the establishment of intermodal facilities that are designed to seamlessly link train station with bus and taxi rank. So, makunale priority esuke thembisa. Siyincenga sithi mayidlule la iyongena idlule kule station sase Rosefield. It is because of the intermodal and interconnectedness that we are still committed to actually do, to ensure that we build not just a city of Ekurhuleni, but one Gauteng city region. And in the future where you can connect, I think we must emphasize this because sometimes izinto zethu zithatha isikhathi to be finalized. Maybe it is because we're dealing with a lot of things. So it takes time. But what we must not do is to lose focus on the ball. So we must continue to remind ourselves that as we want to modernize, we want to make sure that we build a transport system that is integrated. We are going to BRT or mhlambe wehle taxini masivume. Sithi ngathi indaba ama-taxi ukuthi siwakhiphe completely ithatha a bit of time. Uyakwazi ukusuka elokishini ethize ne? Uyakwazi ukusuka elokishini ethize ungene kwi-BRT, ugibele itaxi ungene kwi-BRT, ungene la ungene esitimeleni, ungene eflightini and all that. So that is a future dream that we still want to share with yourself so that we continue to harness this dream. So these hubs, the intermodal facilities, are crucial in facilitating efficient transfers between different modes of transport, thereby improving accessibility for residents and visitors alike, By reducing time travel and enhancing connectivity, the intermodal system is not only encouraging the use of public transport, but also diminishes reliance on personal vehicles, aligning with sustainable urban transport principles. And we must put an emphasis here to say, you are part of the Aerotropolis, for the strategy of Ekurhuleni to succeed. Take your space, contribute, and be jealous about it, because we also have a responsibility as government to identify you as an SMME who's got an interest in transport, so that you diversify beyond just being an owner of a taxi. So it means we must think bigger than what is it that we can do to develop beyond the space we're operating in, so that we actually assist to contribute to the growth of our economy. So the strategic linkages between the transport nodes are anticipated to have a positive ripple effect of the local economy, and the enhanced connectivity is expected to attract businesses and stimulate job creations. And the ease of movement encourage entrepreneurial ventures. SMMEs are likely to flourish in areas surrounding these intermodal hubs, as improved access to transport network enables them to reach a broader customer base. Now we're talking SMMEs, we're talking locals. Asikhulumi ngalabo ama-vendor, ama-hawkers angafuni ukucomply. Sikhuluma ngalabo kumele sibanikeze i-certificate, sithi nayi trading permit, nayi license, so that sazi ukuthi lo gogo othengisa la magwinya uthengisa amagwinya. Akathengisi okunye kuyiziyobisi and so forth. We keep those centers clean and where business is able to grow and thrive. Additionally, the increased foot traffic around these facilities can lead to the establishment of informal trading opportunities, further diversifying employment options within the community. So I'm sure it's one area that remains a worry of our people. What are we doing to support SMMEs, about what you call them, fruits and all that, but also protect them, so that there's a lot of bullying, zamaspaza shops and all that by abanye abantu bangaphandle, and as government we are expected to take roles. Mayor melaye lapha inspect push abantu out who are not compliant, but we can only do that if we work together as well. We strengthen our conversation around these platforms to ensure that those spaces are kept in good use and they are kept for Abandasa, South Africa. It is through the establishment of the intermodal facilities and promote a diverse of transport options that the city aims to create a vibrant and interconnected urban landscape. And the commitment of the city of Ekurhuleni has been one of the integrated transport system that will be instrumental in unlocking entrepreneurial opportunities and fostering a thriving local economy. Yimpi some of these things that we're getting over. Siphume kakhulu no Minister of Police sangena nje as targeting nje illegal buildings, because nazo zikhona mosetuzana amarank. Targeta ke nokunye okurongo that is actually happening around these spaces, and it is one area that we need support also from the leadership. It means outside of us having conversation here, the local leadership must also commit to say, must it to do the wrong things? So that these spaces become a safe spaces, safe passage for our people to actually transit to our places of work and various other places where our people they want to go to. So public transport serves as a backbone for urban infrastructure, particularly in thriving metropolitan areas like ours. In this context, it fulfills the critical economic, social, and environmental functions that contribute to the overall vitality of the city and the broader nation of South Africa. So we do want your conversation to know that the government is with you to actually make sure that those spaces, taxi rank, we build taxi ranks. We build them, we give them to you to operate. So we must keep them, maintain them together to ensure that those spaces are conducive spaces. One of the challenges really is Nkokeli, is sometimes we build taxi rank, we build the upper following our spatial systems. Abantu bemboni ama-taxi bangayisebenzisi le rank, base bayosebenzisa on the other side. I'm saying there's a lot of things that we must talk about to say, how do we better collaborate so that as we build the infrastructure is actually utilized by yourself. But it's going to take a bit of discipline, that we work together, we make sure that if we agree, then we are able to marshal everybody to actually ensure that these spaces are contributing towards an economic, social, and environmental outlook that is conducive to drive development. So in conclusion, I extend my heartfelt welcome to each one of you, and welcome you to the city of Ekurhuleni, the city of peace, the city of Aerotropolis. And I am confident that the discussions will pave a way for a brighter future for the National Taxi Alliance and the nation at large. May this conference inspire us all to strive for excellence in our endeavors as we deal with these many challenges that we face as the industry. I wish you well in your deliberation. Thank you very much, program directors. Awusho phela lo music. Nginyuke kahle ngommusic. Mangehla kunzimanyana.
Thank you very much, Executive Mayor. Thank you. NgesiXhosa badla ngothi xa umnikazi wekhaya engakathi khululekani anikhululeki. So we needed to hear from you, Mayor, usithi masikhulule ibhatyi zethu sizixhome, so that we know that we are very much welcome in this beautiful city of Ekurhuleni. I love the fact that, you know, sometimes because of my job, I find myself in conversations between your mayor or sometimes the MEC of transport. And I often wonder, do people know that people, or the people that I see in front of me from the taxi industry, are actually professionals? Because what we see out there is usually violence and you know what's being said out there about the taxi industry. But when you get to experience people like you get to realize that you can actually converse with these people, hold engagements, because these people are really professionals. So I'm going to call again our president, the NTA president, because he was interrupted. It was very important that we acknowledge the mayor and also give him a platform to welcome us so that we can continue with the program. So let's welcome our president once more before we go for a tea break.
Thank you, colleagues. And let me also thank the Honorable Executive Mayor for the kind words that he has just said. Mr. Mayor, the Deputy Minister, you are both our political and civic leaders. And to you, I wish to say, democracy, it's on its deathbed. Democracy is in the ICU. Democracy as a promise for a bright future, good health, proper education, and long life and prosperity. Democracy has failed. If we are to resuscitate the promise of democracy, we must be honest to ourselves and to these ordinary people who invest in the leadership you put across. Yes, indeed, there is a need for valiant leadership during these hard times. And valiant leadership is a prerequisite for success. I, as president of the NTA, do not own the NTA. Instead, I am owned by these people. They own me. I'm one leader who is not too proud to say I've been wrong. Colleagues, bear with me. That is what we lack of the leadership we have. We have seen countries in Africa that have kissed democracy goodbye in favor of coup d'etats and dictatorships that may, at worst, be worse than the oligarchies that we have seen in the past and the dictatorships of the past. So it is my duty, as well as yours, to save democracy. Let us make the democratic promise a reality to our people. Thank you very much. Colleagues, I am done saluting you. I am now going to say NTA government. Of course, in time perspective. The NTA is an independent taxi organization, independent both of government and business. It is owned by its own members. Fortunately or unfortunately, to date, we have no formal relations with the National Department of Transport. If there is anything, the relationship we have are as taxi operators when we conduct our transactions at the offices of the pre and the registrar. That's the only relationship we have. Of course, in congratulating every incumbent appointed by the President as ministers and the ministers meeting with us, such occasions I have characterized as political drum-beating exercises and nothing else, for nothing came out of those. That is our history. That is the story. But please fasten your seat belts. Secondly, we had an experience in this country where for most of us, the declaration of the state of national disaster was a first experience. During the hour of need, the Honorable Minister of Transport then, Fikile Mbalula, when the subsidized modes of transport were not willing to play ball unless they got their subsidies. This is now the advent of the 7th administration, the government of national unity. The minister and her deputy felt it was right to meet us in a meet and greet session. I did, however, say to them, our experience in these sessions is sour. It reminds us of the best experiences that we have endured in that office. I characterized that session, and I requested the minister and the deputy that this should not be another political drum-beating exercise. It should be for real. The Honorable Minister, by virtue of her position, she said, I am a mother. I am a mother. And as a mother, during this conference, is testament to that. And I also wish to emphasize the following. Before you get up on the outside, you must first get up on the inside. Honorable ministers, during the first through to the 6th administration, were at best naive and at worst unethical. That is our experience. Colleagues, our brief experience with the 7th administration does not suggest we have arrived yet. Remember, a deal is not a deal until the money is in the bank. Then I move over to NTA and to Santaco. Where's my son? Where's my son?